Hello, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to discuss something about XRP and the possibility of XRP actually becoming the new SWIFT. I'm going to explain both of those things because if that didn't make sense, you will have the answer to that. And I know this conversation has actually been brought up multiple times, but what I want you to take away from this video today is the idea that we've explored the difference between XRP and SWIFT and to see which one is actually better suited in the space of global finance, like which one is actually better in the future. So we're gonna look at a series of things. So let's start from that elementary level. Before I do that, if you go on to enjoy this video, please hit subscribe. We're on our way to 100,000 subscribers. And if this is valuable to you and you know someone else that's kind of interested in XRP, then please make sure you share this video with them. I'd like to bring more people into here. If you've got any additional comments, leave them in the comments section and I'll have a look. Okay, so let's get into it. So let's start with SWIFT, because I'm assuming everyone in here kind of already knows about XRP. I'll go into XRP in a little bit as well, just to kind of fully flesh this thing out. So SWIFT is a company that basically handles messaging for payments. If that doesn't make any sense, here's how a payment works. A payment, when you send it from one bank to another, the bank actually has to send a message. It's very much like if I'm going to send you money I'm going to message you on WhatsApp and say, hey, I'm going to send you money. What are your bank details? What's your account number? Oh, here, I've just sent it. I've just sent it to you now. Can you let me know if you've got it? Then you respond and say, yeah, I just got it. And I go, cool, thanks. Like there's a messaging thing that goes back and forth. It's communication. It's just communication. And if we have communication, we can spot faults along the way. Just like if I'm talking with you on WhatsApp and I say, I've just sent the payment and you go, I don't have any there's nothing here. Like nothing happened on my side. Then I can troubleshoot and I see that there's an issue and we can fix that issue. We can cancel the transaction and we can try and find another way to do it. The banking system works in the exact same way. That's the simplest way to explain it. Now, instead of using English, the banks use their own language to do that. And that language is based on ISO. That's the International Standards Organization. And so they create the standards for how banks communicate with each other and actually how many industries communicate with each other in this automated fashion. So what we have is this specific standard for communication between banks. And it's called ISO 20022. So 20022. And that language is how the banks communicate. Now, SWIFT is basically a utilizer of that language. They handle the messaging, they structure the messaging, they work with ISO to do all of those things. And they provide that as a service to banks across the world. So if you go into any bank around the world and you say, do you know what SWIFT is? They're like, yeah, SWIFT is like, we can't have a bank basically without SWIFT. That's how the system operates right now. And so SWIFT has the monopoly on the entire world. The problem is the banking system and the movement of money is really inefficient. So we look at that and we see there's payment failures, there's massive fees for making these payments with SWIFT. I've even got on my notes here, SWIFT fees can reach up to $1,000 per transactions, when XRP's fees are 0.40 and then a 1 of an XRP token per transaction, meaning you would need 20 million transactions at the current price of XRP just to reach $1,000 in fees. 20 million transactions. Swift's fees could be $1,000 per transaction. You can see here there's the big issue. There's also a big issue in time. With the SWIFT system, it takes 3 to 5 days for the money to actually be moved. And so just to go a layer deeper here, you have 2 different layers in any given payment. The first layer is the messaging layer. This is where you say, hey, I'm going to send you money. And then they say, yeah, I've just got the money, thank you, and all of that stuff. That's the messaging layer. The layer underneath is really only triggered when the right amount of messages have already been sent. So the second layer is value transfer. So this is where the money actually moves, like the code representing the money that actually moves. That's when you see the payment received on the other side, okay? So there's a difference between the intent of a message and the delivery of value. They're different things. And so SWIFT has a monopoly on this whole process, the whole system. XRP comes in now with short transaction times, 3 to 5 seconds instead of a week, which is quite a significant change. The fee structure is completely different and way cheaper for XRP to do that. And what else am I missing there? Actually, I don't think... And also, XRP are also ISO 20022, or 20022 compliant. So they use that messaging structure to send... You can use XRP, the cryptocurrency, with that messaging system. So what does that mean? Well, that means all the banks could basically just use XRP now, have significantly less failure rate, have it happen way quicker and way cheaper, meaning the banks could make significantly more money if they just keep their fees. If the banks kept their fees for transactions the same, but saw a 99% decrease in what it cost them, that is massive profit for the banks. Like, I know I don't necessarily want banks to keep their fees the same, but they could. They're a business. They could keep it like that and just see the complete upside of that change for themselves rather than their customer. In reality, it'll probably be somewhere in between. They'll show you the saving that you're getting as well, and they'll also be making more money at the same time. It's kind of a win-win, which I'm okay with, I think. But remember, we could do this without the banks. Like, we could send money to each other without the banks and just use XRP. Another benefit of XRP there. But I wanted to tell you a story to kind of really illustrate why I think that XRP and Ripple actually completely nullify Swift and actually become the next Swift. Here's my rationale for that. So when I was a kid, if you wanted something from the shops, you had to do a big shop, we called it. You have to go to the shop. You have to go to your Walmart, your Tesco, your Asda, whatever it is, your Kmart. You have to go there. You have to walk around with your trolley or your buggy. Man, there's so many different terms that everyone uses. I'm gonna say what's right in my head. You use a trolley. You go around all the time. There's even TV shows about the culture of trolleys. We had Supermarket Sweep, where they race around with a trolley and get the stuff off the shelves. We don't have that culture anymore. Why don't we have that culture of going to the shops anymore? It was nice to go to the shops. It was like a thing. I don't know. I hated it, but I think my mum loved it because I could just like walk around. She'd have a day out with me and go shopping or whatever. Wasn't that enjoyable for me? Anyway, we'll move on. And that's continued. I just really dislike shopping. But that's because something better came along. There was something better that, despite the increased experience, how much fun it was to go to the shops, how you could just pick up a chocolate bar and just put it in the trolley without your mum knowing, and then she only finds out about it when you're at checkout, and she's like, oh, where did you get this from? Oh, I don't know. Just fell in there from the sky somewhere. Just scan it anyway. You know, like, that whole thing was lovely. Very nice. Great experience. It's just easier to get it delivered. If the priority is convenience and ease, or in this case, if the priority is cost reduction, if the priority is speed reduction, if it's about the success rate going up, if that's the priority, there's no question that Swift is out. Like, Swift would have to, if they're going to stay alive, they would have to like merge with Ripple, or Ripple would like buy Swift. Something like that. Like, that's the only way Swift stays alive in that way. Because, and the reason I say all of that about shopping is basically that's what's happened to shopping in person, brick and mortar, and Amazon. Like, in that transition, something happened. I don't care how nice it was to shop. If it can be delivered next day and it's competitive on price and I can talk to Alexa and make that order happen, or I can just do it in like 3 clicks on my phone, I'm doing that. I'm not getting in the car, driving 15 minutes, walking around for an hour and a half, driving 15 minutes back, unloading all the food, put it in the fridge and put it all away. It's just taken 3 hours of my day to do a task that I can do in minutes. So what am I saying with all of that? The better technology, the better solution just wins. That's what happens. I don't know how long that takes. I don't know how long in reality it took shops to like completely... I don't know how... It's not complete evolution. Shops haven't completely faded out. But basically we can call a monopoly on Amazon. How long will it take to do something like that in the payment space with Swift, the takeover? Well, it comes down to the desire of the market. What are the priorities of the market? If the priority of the market is cost reduction, speed, those kinds of things that lean into XRP, then the process will be relatively quick. I'm talking like, I'd imagine we'd get there before 2030. However, if the focus and priority isn't on those things, it presents a whole different view of things. So, for example, if the priority is regulation and maturity of the technology, like SWIFT, the relationships that SWIFT has with all the banks around the world, and the long-term nature of those relationships and the deep embeddedness of SWIFT in the banks, if the priority is to maintain that, things are going to move extremely slow. I still think the destination is the same, because I still think, like, I'm not going back to go walk around the shops for 3 hours. I'm not going back. Like, I'm not going back. I don't care if it was nice. I want to just order it online. Like, there are transitions that happen that are massively, it was inevitable. It was always going to happen. It might take a long time to happen, but it will happen. I think that's the case that we're talking about here. Now, if regulatory compliance and certainty is like a priority, we're talking about as a priority, then it will still take a long time, because SWIFT has gone through all of this, is completely regulated. I'm sure SWIFT has these ins with government and stuff. It's almost like an immovable force. Eventually, though, that will be eroded, because the best solution will win. And so, you know, we look at countries now that are starting to adopt cryptocurrency and XRP. You've got like Singapore. Singapore, when you actually look at it, has a very simple structure to their financial system. It's not complex. Like, you look at their like tax code and stuff. I mean, versus the US and the UK, not that bad. Like, it's not complex. It's very straightforward and very simple. These are the systems that are going to be the first to transition over to this new system, this new XRP world, the lack of SWIFT kind of system. It's the countries that have complex infrastructure in terms of regulation and financial infrastructure that need more time. Because these are the countries, you've got like Belgium, the UK, all of the European Union, those kind of like Germany and stuff. These are going to be slow, like cumbersome countries to move, because the financial systems are very complex. Now, you'd think Singapore would be up there with the complexity, but they actually made it very streamlined. The system, the regulation, is very to the point, it's very clear. When you've got clarity, we talk about this a lot, when you've got clarity, things happen actually quicker once you've got clarity, because it's like, you know, we can just attribute precedent. Oh, we want to do this. Oh yeah, we've got precedent for that. It's very clear what we do. We don't have that right now, certainly in America, but in the UK either. And so that's really what we're aiming for here. But naturally, what's going to happen is, just like with the transition from going to the shops to just ordering on Amazon or just ordering online, you're going to have some people that are super receptive to the idea that they don't want to go shopping anymore because they never liked it anyway. So these are going to be the first adopters, the first ones to crumble. And when those people crumble and they go all the way to like getting it delivered all the time, these people are like, this is amazing, I'm never going back shopping again. And that voice becomes louder and louder and louder, till all of a sudden you've got even the people who love going shopping and they love the experience of going shopping. Even those people order online now, you know, because it's a natural progression. But the first ones to crumble are the ones who don't like it anyway. So this is what we're having. This is what we're going to see with SWIFT and XRP. You've got the countries with streamlined systems that are going to just jump over first because it's easy to, because they got the systems in place to do that. Their voice is going to get louder and louder and louder. Their economies are going to grow. That's what I mean by louder and louder. Their economies are going to grow. Their payment processing is going to go through the roof, and they're going to be known for that and eclipse the countries that haven't moved yet. And that will be compelling enough for the other countries to slowly make more clarity in their regulation and make that switch over. I think that's naturally how it happens. And that's why I think XRP is, in fact, inevitably the next SWIFT or Ripple, depending on how you want to word that. So if you enjoyed this kind of breakdown of my thought process, I do this 3 times a week in my newsletter, where I talk about these topics and lessons I've learned and perspectives that I had. I don't watch anyone else on YouTube, so you're really just getting my brain. And if that is of value to you and you want to hear from me multiple times a week, there'll be only a few of you, I'm sure, then register for my newsletter. That's in the description below. In there, I'll share my unique insights, and also from time to time, I'll share with you some of the successes that my clients have been having with their portfolio and with their mindset and everything. It's just nice for you to know that things can work for you, no matter how long and how difficult this journey is in crypto. It is possible. You can do it. So With that said, let me know what you think. Subscribe to this channel, leave a comment below and hit like before you go. Share it with any friends or family that you think might find this useful. Stay emotionless, and I'll see you in the next one.